Hi, Nativity students. This is my video for the middle schoolers. I don't have any children in those grades, but you may know Eli in kindergarten and Isaac in second grade. Those are my kids. I have a presentation for you today about Saint Martin de Porres. He is an important saint from the 17th century in our church. And there's a couple of reasons why I want to talk about Martin with you. This month, our country is celebrating people who came to the United States from Africa or whose ancestors did. Those are often called African Americans. In our church, we also celebrate people who lived holy lives, and we call many of those people that lived holy lives saints, because we know that they are in heaven with God, where they pray for us to God, and where we also look up to them and try to imitate the lives that they lived, because they show us how to be better people. So what I want to do is I'm going to tell you a little bit about his life. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the picture of Martin that is hanging in our gathering space in the church. I'm going to show you a book about Martin that maybe you could read later on. And then we're going to ask some questions about Martin's life that I'd like you to talk about with your teachers, to see if there's things that you think you could learn from Martin's life, about things that you could imitate in his life to try to be a better person too. So, Martin was born in Lima, Peru. You know where we live probably. We're up by that blue dot in Minnesota. That's where Nativity is. Peru, you can probably read down at the bottom. This is middle school, right? Is there, down there. And here's a zoomed in version, right? You can see the city where he was. That's the city of Lima, covered up by that red dot in the zoomed in version here. He had a sister as well, and his parents were named Ana Velasquez and Don Juan de Porres. His mother was from Africa and maybe from South America, and his father was from Spain. Now, his father was an important person in the community. Eventually, he became a leader in a community nearby. And because he was considered important, he was able to help Martin get some education when he was young. But unfortunately, when Martin was pretty young, he decided that he didn't want to live with his children anymore, and he left his family and he abandoned Ana Velasquez. Pretty sad, right? That meant that his mother was the one who had to raise him and his sister by herself. Some in the community then, after he left, might not have liked Martin because his skin was different than other people's, than most of the people that lived in that city. And even though it was his father's fault for leaving his family, some of the people in the community might have also thought that there was something wrong with Martin because his family left. And they might have called Martin illegitimate because his father left them. Now, as he grew up, though, he felt that he reflected on his experiences, and he decided, I've had a hard life, and I want to help other people who have had hard lives as well. So he wanted to serve the poor, and he asked religious orders of the time, which are made up of priests and monks and brothers, if he could join them to help serve the poor. Now, even though they let people join the community, they had some rules about who could join and who couldn't. And one of the rules they had was that if you had skin like Martin's, darker skin, that you couldn't join the community. That was also kind of a bad rule that they had at the time. But they had it, and it would have made sense for Martin, right, to get angry about that and say, well, if you don't want me to join you, then I don't want to join the community. But instead of doing that, Martin decided, you know what, I really do want to join. And even though they first told me no, I'm going to keep asking. So he asked different communities and asking to see if he could wear their clothes, right, to join their community. Many of them still continued to say no, but one group called the Dominicans of the Holy Rosary eventually said, well, you can't join the community, but we will let you wear the same clothes as we wear, the special robes that the religious orders sometimes wear. And they said to him, you can serve us. You can do some of the jobs that no one else in the community wants to do. So you can work in the kitchen, you can clean the floors, right? You can do some of the jobs that others in the community don't want to do. So yeah, they didn't treat him just like everybody else there, but they did let him wear the same clothes and to do some of the things that he really did want to do, which was to serve the poor. Um, One of the other things that he did while he was in that community was that he founded a place for children who had lost their parents. Remember, Martin lost his parents, and so then he decided one important thing to tell them that they are important, that they matter, is to give them a place to stay. And so the picture that I put on the screen here is of the community that he joined. And then the other thing that he was known for was that he would work in the hospital for the community that he was a part of. And sometimes when he would pray over the people that were sick or for the people that were sick, God would heal them, and that's what we call a miracle, right? That Martin was so close to God that God would sometimes listen to his prayers and say, "Yes, I will do what you ask me to do," and he would heal the people that were sick. One of the most important things to notice about this, though, is that he would do this for anybody, no matter where they came from the community. If they were someone who was running the whole community, or if they were a slave, right? Somebody who's forced to work for other people in the community. And he didn't care. He wanted to love everybody the same, and he didn't care if they didn't love him back, and he didn't care whether they treated him fairly. He always served everybody who came to him for help. And when he was 59 years old, he himself got sick, and for almost a year, he suffered with this sickness and died in the year 1639. So here's an image in that same community in Peru that they have on the wall of Martin, showing him praying for somebody and that person getting better. And here's an image then of his tomb, his grave in Peru as well. Now, in our church, in the gathering space, we have this picture of Martin. And it has a couple secret hidden images in it that help us remember things about Martin's life. On the one hand, we see that he's holding a cross. And we say this because the artist put this in the image because Erin Wee, her name, the artist, said that she wanted to make sure that we noticed that Christ brings us healing. And so Martin wanted to be like Christ by healing people. And so when he prayed to God, he was like Christ because he became the way in which other people were healed in his community. And even that's the case, even if there weren't miracles, right? He wanted to serve them and to help heal them, even if no miracle happened in a particular situation. And so Jesus heals us, and Martin asked Jesus to heal us as well. The other symbol in the image then is the clothes that he's wearing. These are the robes of the Dominicans, right? The Dominicans of the Holy Rosary. And they're the community that allowed him to join. So, or at least, right, to wear the clothing, right? So we can even remember that detail about Martin's life when we think about the way in which he had to overcome obstacles in order to serve other people. Now, if you want to learn more about Martin, there's more than one book. This one might be for a little bit younger children maybe than you, but there are other books out there as well that you can find about Martin's life that will tell you and give you ideas about how you might try to imitate Martin's life more carefully. But for now, this is where you and your teacher are going to have some questions that I'd like you to think about. So I'm going to read a few questions, and then I'd like your teacher to pause the video and have some time then to think about the questions that I ask and see if there's anything that you'd like to talk about. So let's start with this, with your own lives. Has anybody ever been mean to you because they thought you looked different from other people around you, or because they thought you were different in any way from them? How did it feel when they treated you differently like that? And what are some things that you might have done when someone was mean to you? Okay, take a pause. Okay, then let's think about Martin now in particular. What did he do when people were mean to him? Think about the story I told you. What are some things that he did when people were mean? Pause. And then one of the things that happened to Martin early in his life was that his father left, right? So I want you to think about what that would feel like. How would it feel to have a parent in your family? Think about your parents, right? Maybe some of you have already had this happen to you, right? But if you don't, what would it feel like to have a parent who, for one reason or another, wasn't with your family anymore? What would you do if that happened to you? How would you feel? And then in turn, what did Martin do? How did he react to the fact that his father left him? Take a pause. Now, finally, no, two more. People in religious orders are people that are trying to be holy, right? They want to live holy lives. So this is a hard question. I'm only asking this question for this group for you older students. Why do you think that the religious orders in the city kept Martin from joining? I want you to think about that. Was that a holy thing for them to do? And then finally, the last question on this is, what might they have done differently that would have shown a better way to be holy? Pause. And then the last question here. Is there anything that you could do in your life to make sure that you're being fair to everyone around you? Are there things that you could ask people? Are there things that you could do that would make sure that you're treating everybody the same and fair? Think about things that Martin did. Thank you. So have a good week, and hopefully I'll see you around sometime at Nativity.